Hey guys, it's Paolo. So today we have a pretty fascinating episode for you because we're talking with the Hollywood medium, Tyler Henry. Now I am so hooked on his show on E, and just like you, I have so many questions to ask him. I can't wait, and I'll see you all in the studio.
His life was changed and made new when an angel made his dream come true, and now he brings his dream to you. In his
Are you ready?
I am ready.
Tyler, I'm so happy to have you here.
I'm so happy to be here.
You don't even understand, like last month when I found out you were gonna be a guest on our show, I went crazy because like I'm a big fan of yours.
Thank you.
You have opened, just like other people out there, hundreds of thousands of people, you've opened my mind as well about what you do. And so for that, I thank you.
Oh, well, thank you.
Oh, please. He is too nice. You are too nice, and I love you for that.
No.
Season 2, it's out, Hollywood Medium, your show. Congratulations.
Thank you. It's been so amazing.
I mean, just the episodes are getting better and better with the guests you have on there.
Yeah.
But when I was watching season 2, I was wondering, when you were taping season 1, did you have any premonition or vision how successful your show is going to be? And did something tell you there is going to be a season 2? Like, how does that work for you?
Yeah, because for me, I knew in doing it that obviously these connections were really heartfelt and that people would really resonate with them. And so I knew that in season 1, but I definitely felt like season 2 would go ahead and would be great. But I actually usually have a hard time kind of intuiting my own future because I'm biased. And so when we are biased about ourselves, it can be difficult sometimes for intuitive impressions to come through. So I'm more intuitive about other people, but I definitely knew, for how those readings went, they were just so touching, and so I'm so glad to be back for season 2.
So powerful. I mean, season 1, with Christopher Knight, that still, till today, is one of my favorites when you did that reading with him.
Yeah.
But just for those who are just tuning in, the premise of the show is that you go to the homes of a celebrity, and you don't know in advance who you're going to. And tell the viewers, why is that? Why don't you not know who you're going to go do the reading to?
Sure. Well, going into this process, I really wanted to be able to show everyone that this is authentic. And in dealing with celebrities, they do live obviously very public lives. So I made it my goal going into this to say, I don't want to know where I'm going. I don't want to know who I'm reading. The second that door opens and the viewers see who opens it, that's the first time I'm seeing that person. And I have to sit down and give that person a reading. So that was really important for me because there is a lot of public information about celebrities. And so for me, in going into this, though I don't recognize most of them, my goal is
one reason because he's so young. I mean, you're 20 years old.
Yes.
I mean, Tracy Gold, I love Tracy Gold, and she was, I think, your first guest in season 1.
Yeah,
and when you went there, Tracy Gold, he might remember me from Growing Pains. I'm like, girl,
I was in diapers.
He doesn't know. He didn't watch me. He's too young for that.
Just sucking my thumb.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Exactly.
Do you get, because the camera, you're on camera now, when you're doing what you're gifted at, do you ever get nervous about it, that maybe from the other side, the ones who have passed away, they're not able to connect with you? Does that ever happen, or do you get some kind of message?
I always find that when I go to these readings, something will always come through. So, clients come with expectations, and because I never know anything about the client, I never know who they're wanting to connect with. And so for me, I always tell people to kind of put expectation aside and allow the message to come through.
There's a weird reference to an individual who died tragically at like a very early age that I would have to highlight.
Oh my God,
Of course, it's sad in any case where there's a tragedy with this, but from her perspective, the amount of life that she had inside of her was intense in the way that it comes across of like, I'm a force. And she comes through in that way of like, I'm a force. Like if she walks in the room, I feel like everyone looks to her.
Tyler was connecting with Carolyn Bessette, who was my closest friend and also my cousin by marriage. My late husband, Anthony, and his cousin, John Kennedy, was married to Carolyn, so she was Carolyn Bessette Kennedy. So not only were we friends, but we were family.
You need to be, you know who Barbara Walters is?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, good. You need to be one of our most fascinating people at the end of the year because you're very fascinating.
Aww.
But watching your show, sometimes when you're driving to their home, you get these feelings. Like, I think one was Amber Rose, you were seeing lots of roses or something.
Yeah.
I'm like, did you smell anything when you came here? Were there like Nutella
perfume? Yes, like sensing in that direction. I love it. No, yeah, totally. I mean, on the way to these readings, I oftentimes find that intuitive impressions will come through. And those are some of the best impressions because I'm really not biased. This is before I've even shook the client's hand. And I take those impressions and I deliver them. And I believe that the way that this works is that because these readings are scheduled, the loved ones that are connected to the person that's being read know that their loved one is going to meet with me, even though I don't know who the client is. And as a result, their loved ones will actually come through to me on the way to these readings and deliver information. And then when I sit down with the client, I deliver what came through.
Do you think with loved ones who have passed away, do they always try to connect with us and maybe we don't even know? Because watching your show, I see that sometimes people say, I remember that was him coming to me or kissing my forehead. I remember that one episode.
Right.
Does that happen? Like, and maybe we won't even know that they're trying to connect with us in some way?
Absolutely, for sure. And everybody has a different communication style in life. And the same applies to people on the other side. So there's different ways that people connect. But I do believe that all of our loved ones fundamentally do try to interact with us, try to communicate. And for us, it's just a matter of getting in touch with our intuition. Wow. If we can do that, we can see those signs and we can feel those connections.
You've opened me to that, and like other people as well, you have. Is it true when you were a young kid that another psychic tell you that you were going to have your own show? Is that true?
It is true.
Wow.
I was at the time actually enrolled to go to become a hospice nurse, and I graduated high school at the age of 16 and knew that that was, my passion and that I wanted to help people at the end of their lives. And then this woman just met me and she didn't know anything about me and she just said, I want you to know you have this ability and you're meant to use it. And you're going to write 3 books by the time you're 25. I have book number 1 coming out this November.
This November. Yes. This November it's coming out, yes. Exactly.
And she told me about the show and that at 19 I would get a show. And sure enough, it all transpired from there. And
did you obviously remember that. Did you believe her when she told you that, or were you hesitant?
I was very hesitant because I grew up in a very small town about 3 hours north of LA, near Fresno, California. So the idea that I would go to Hollywood and get a show and read celebrities, I'm like, okay, she's telling me what I want to hear. But actually it happened, and it happened exactly in the way that she said.
Wow.
So
you said this is your passion, but what I think some people don't know is that you got your first sign when you were 10 years old, when you had a sense or something told you that your grandmother was going to pass away.
Right.
When I think you told your mom first because you guys were about to leave.
Yes.
You told your mom. Was your mom like, thank you for letting me know, or how did she react to that?
She was totally shocked. She just looked at me and she said, well, if that's what you feel, then we have to say goodbye. Wow. And I thought that was an interesting response because my mom, was pretty conservative.
Yeah, you
consider
her family from a small town.
Right. So for me to say like, hey, I feel like we have to say goodbye to grandma because I think she's going to die. Like, she actually responded to that pretty well, and I was really surprised. But I think she just knew that my grandmother and I had such a close connection.
Yeah.
That's kind of how she rationalized.
And didn't she come visit you after she passed away? Your grandmother,
She did.
She came to you in ways.
So after the premonition of my grandmother's passing, in the following day, she came through in a dream, and she basically gave me a bunch of personal information about my family. Family situations that were going to happen. She warned me in advance, and then all of these things happened. And so to a T, she would come through regularly and communicate, and then it just stopped.
I mean, wow.
Yeah.
I mean, you're 10 years old, but at what age were you able to accept it and understand? Was it when you were 15 or 16? Did you say, okay, this is who I am. Right. God works through people. That's what I believe in. Yeah. And were you like nervous? Well, tell me.
It took a long time to really process what it was that I was experiencing, putting a name to it. What is a clairvoyant? What is a medium? So I spent a lot of time in libraries and on the internet trying to research other people who did what I do, and other mediums, and kind of try to understand from there. But it was really a process of discovery, and at the age of 16 I professionally started doing readings while I was in college, and then the second I started working, within 3 months it just took off.
How did that affect you going to school? Because we all, when you know something about you, like for me going to school and not knowing at the time that I was gay, but trying to deal with it, I got bullied, and it was just, it's something that we all go through. Was it difficult for you knowing that this was your journey that you were going through and you were so young? Was that hard for you growing up?
Absolutely. I mean, now I'm thankful I have the credibility and Matt Lauer's testimonial of like that this is real.
So good. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So I mean, that's amazing where I'm at now. But back then it was really tough, and people didn't really disbelieve me, but they were afraid. And I dealt with like religious fear. People were scared and didn't understand, where this came from and how it worked. And I found that as I would explain my process and show people what these readings were, they weren't afraid anymore because they saw that it was about healing, it was about reconnection, it was about compassion, and
those are the 3 key words, I believe. Because I grew up in a Catholic family, and I struggled. Even with coming, I struggled. Yeah. And this, I really understood of a medium, but I never wanted to believe it because that's what we were told, growing up. But then when I watch your show. Watch a show on E! On Wednesday nights, by the way. When I watch your show and I see that you're healing these people, and it's comforting, and it's things that they need to know. And there's times when you're saying things that like nobody even knew. It's mind blowing. It really is mind blowing. Tell me this: what is your dream for yourself? Because you help so many people. But what is your biggest dream for yourself?
For me, I would say my biggest dream is to ultimately someday be able to do tours, be able to travel to places throughout the world that need the help, that might not have the resources. So for me, I want to travel all across, be able to help people do free readings, do charity readings, do readings for people who can't afford them.
Yeah.
You know, and that is my passion. So.
Do you think your dream chose you? Because it seems like it did, kind of, right?
Absolutely. I think it did. I mean, clearly I woke up with it and something picked me, and I just figured that it's a blessing and a responsibility to have this, and I've really just tried to take the steps to, you know, do it in a way that is going to be honorable and authentic and share it.
You said, so one of your dreams is to go around and and help people. And for those who can't come to you, and you know, because I feel very blessed to be sitting here with you, I really do.
Likewise.
But for those who can't come to you, and you know, we all deal with someone who's passed away. I've dealt with a few people this year for the first time. What can you say to those who want to come to peace with it? What would be the key for them to try to understand the process, would you say?
Well, I would say, you know, everybody has an individual grief process, and it's important that we all understand that our grief processes are inherently unique, and that we're around people that are going to be supportive and conducive to our grief processes. It's important that we're around people who are going to understand that and respect that. And I think that we all can find those signs and indications from our loved ones. It just takes time. And people who oftentimes experience recent tragedies or loss will wonder, why isn't that loved one coming through? Why am I not dreaming of them? Why am I not feeling them? And sometimes it just takes time, but those signs are there. For sure.
I hear you. And for those like who want to go see a psychic, and I've always wondered this: if they see any place that says the word psychic, do they just go there, or is there something that they need to look for, or is it just anyone who has a business or a store? Is it anything in particular we need to look for to go see one?
As far as like, well, I would say, you know, for me, I think it's important if you're going to see a psychic or a medium that you get a referral. That's really important. So it's like anything.
Key number one.
Yes, I view this as a practice.
That's a really good
and
tip.
we are practitioners, so you wouldn't call a 1-800 number to get a doctor's advice. So why would you do it for 99, you know, cents a minute, you know, on the phone?
On the
so
phone,
for me, it's important, you know, to really go to someone who's reputable, someone that you're going to get a referral to, and then I always would encourage people to just let the medium talk. Because so many people are so wanting to connect
and have so many questions.
And it's just like, if someone is authentic, they will do the talking.
Wow.
They will let you know what's coming through, and it will make sense, and you will feel it in your gut that it is a sincere, honest connection. You know your loved one better than any medium ever could, and you will know whether the essence of that person is in that room or not.
Like you're gonna
feel them. You will feel them.
I love watching when you feel them on the show, because we see what's happening with you on the show. You start sweating, and it's very powerful. And like, how could you just not believe this? I don't understand. I just don't understand. It's so mind blowing. Tell me this last thing. If you could pick any one celebrity, I want you to pick one because I know you have a couple. If you could pick one to be on your show, Wednesday nights on the E! Network, if you could pick it, who would you want? Who would you pick, would you say?
I would do Lana Del Rey. Would be amazing. Can you imagine?
Yes. You would be so good. Oh my gosh.
I would faint. I would have a heart attack. You need to get a medium to bring me through. That's what would happen.
Wait, Patrick, who did he do the one on the guest, and he's like, and he started patting his forehead. Oh yeah, that was so good. When you saw Candace, like when you're like, oh, I'm so nervous, and you were so cute.
Candace Kane made me moist.
Yeah. Can I make a referral if you could have one for us?
Yes.
You know who Bobby Brown is?
Bobby Brown.
Yeah. It would be so interesting to see him on your show, because obviously so many of us love Whitney Houston, and you know their daughter Bobby Christina. It would be so interesting to know like how are they doing. So if his team ever writes to you, he'd be a good one to have on the show.
Well, it's actually interesting. I agree, it would be amazing. And for me, the production aspect of it, I never know who I'm reading or where I'm going. So even if he was ever booked, I would never know, because he just opened the door.
I love that. I love that. I really do. You really, I mean, I mean this, and I want you to believe me that I really love watching you and your show. You have opened so many of our minds, and what you're doing really, like I said this before, God works through mysterious ways, and you are the vessel, and thank you for doing what you do. Really, thank you so much.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
You give me the chills, and
give me the chills.
Okay.
So sweet.
Okay. So don't forget, you can catch the show. Hello, look, don't forget Wednesday nights, right? Wednesday nights on the E.
8 p.m.
Please. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
You're a delight.
You were the best.
You're so precious. Okay.
Oh, thank you.
And don't ever change.
Never ever.
Don't ever change.
Say 20 forever.
Bye. Thank you, Tyler, so much.
You.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Thanks, everyone. We'll see you next time. A spoonful of Paulo. Bye.
Oh,
thank you.
You were the best, you guys.
No, you're the
it's
best.
so rare that I get an interview where I'm just like, I want
I-
to hug all the people that are involved.
Oh my God, that's so nice.
You guys are the best.
Dream big.
Spoonful of Paulo.
I love you, Oprah. Bye, everyone. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Thank you.